Hey campers, Georgia, back in the man cave. Woot! Yeah, shock and horror, right? Well, guess what? Got me a new toy. Another sharp and shiny. And this one's from Antonini. And if you remember, I did a review on one of their knives the other day. I really liked it. It's a great little knife and they do a good job. I thought I'd go and have a look at their website, check them out, you know the story. And while I was looking through there, seeing what they have, a lot of their knives, although they're nice and everything, I don't have a use for them really. But then I saw this guy. And this is the biltong. Yep, biltong. Something that I grew up with. And that's what got my attention. So I bought it. Here it is. Let's check it out and see what it does and what's so special about the biltong knife. So I'll give you a little bit of history of biltong. Biltong is basically the Southern Africa version of American beef jerky. Probably came out before then. It's a traditional cured meat, is very popular back home. Now, as you know, I grew up in Zimbabwe. I'm going to take this off because it's warmer now. I was just outside. Temperature outside right now is 18 degrees. A wee diddly chilly. But anyway, back to the knife. The word biltong actually comes from Dutch. If you translate it into English, bil is buttock and tong is tongue or strip. Basically in English, a direct translation will be buttock strip. It's meat typically from game, although a lot of the butcheries back home do make it with regular beef. The more popular versions are from game. Things like kudu, eland, impala, things like that are hunted for their meat and hide. Once it's been processed, they take the meat and they cut it into strips. They follow the grain of the meat in long strips, and then it's hung to cure after it's been put in a marinade. According to where you are and their personal preference, all the marinades are slightly different. And they marinate the meat and they hang it to dry. It's not cooked, it's not smoked, it's just hung. The big difference, and that's the big difference between a beef jerky and biltong. They cure it in different ways. I'm not sure they'll smoke it and things like that. Whereas biltong is just hung to dry. And the difference is you get a more of a fluffy meat when you cut them into slices. So what you do is you'd get your big slice that you got and you'd cut it into little strips and eat it that way. And what happens is the inside is really soft. I want to say fluffy. Whereas when you look at beef jerky, it's harder and more of a steaky kind of feel to it. Whereas biltong's not. And I got to tell you, you can't beat biltong. You got to try it. If you can get your hands on some, give it a try. You won't be disappointed. Back to the biltong knife. Why they called it the biltong knife, I have no idea. I tried to look it up. I actually couldn't find it on their website. Where I found this was on Amazon, but when I went to their actual Antonini website, I couldn't see it. So it's probably a fairly new thing that they've done, calling it the biltong. And let's have a look at it. And it comes in the usual nice little cardboard box. And it's got all the information on it. You can see here. By the way, it is an Antonini knife. And it's from the old Bear series. The same with the other knife. And they've been around since 1925. They're out of Italy. They're an Italian company. It's family owned. They make some really nice knives. It's a very familiar look to it. The Antonini knives, they all have a handle just like this in the old Bear version. Just the blades differ. The locking mechanism is a little different, but it works really well. One of the features I like of their knives is their lock. It's pretty solid. And basically, it's just this piece here that you slide 45 degrees. So what you'll do is you'll just slide it over, and that opens up the lock. I didn't have it all the way open. And then you would lock it again. You can see there, I locked it again. and it's solid in there. It doesn't move. That's what I really liked about it. And then obviously to unlock it, you just slide it back and it closes, and then you would lock it again. The blade doesn't come out. All their wood, I believe, is walnut. This is actually, I believe they say on the back here, American walnut. So the handle is American walnut. And that got me thinking about their website, why I couldn't find it on their website, because I did buy this obviously in the US on Amazon. It came from a local dealer. And I'm wondering if they made the handle. Now, you can't really tell the difference between the handle in this, on this one, and the handle on the traditional one. I don't actually hack it. Here it is here. Now, the shape of the handle is the same, but if you look at the wood on these guys, it's a little different. You see that? This is, I want to say, a little bit smoother, has a less pattern to it, and a little bit darker, whereas this one's a little bit lighter. You can see that. They are both the same size. The handles, they look exactly the same. So the shape and everything is correct. I'm guessing about where it's made. It probably is made at their factory. I still don't know why they don't have it on their website. The difference here on the biltong, you can see the blade, and this is a sheep's foot, I want to call it. That's what I would call it. And it's just a very thin blade. I like it. I mean, that blade looks pretty solid. And obviously on the other one, and I will put a link in the description below for you on the review I did on this one. This is the more traditional style knife from them. You can see it there. You can see that blade. Very familiar look. Almost looks like an opinel. And I'm going to say I prefer this to the opinel. How well the blade will be, how well it will stand up to as much as an opinel would, I'm not sure. The blades are a little bit thicker, so I'm thinking they're probably a little bit more sturdy than the opinel. Just as sharp and about the same size. I just preferred the locking mechanism on this than on the opinel knives there. The more traditional and the biltong. And this is that saber, what I like to call a saber style blade, whereas this one is a sheep's foot. So you can see the difference. Away with this guy and back to this guy. Now, when I looked at the measurements and everything, and on looking on the measurements, it said it's 4.25 closed inches closed. And let me get my trusty tape measure here. And they are correct, so can't beat that. But then they say they have a measurement here that says 2.63 inches. And I suspect that that's the blade. So let's have a look here. And looking at that, yeah, they're right there. So 2.6 inch blade when it's open. So the total length would have to be, let's have a look, see here, just over 7, which is about normal. Like I said, it's a very familiar knife of theirs, and they call it the biltong. Why they call it the biltong, I'm not sure. Got my attention. Will this cut biltong? You're wondering if I have biltong, right? Unfortunately, I don't. But when I get some, I'm going to be slicing it up with this thing. So I'm hoping pretty soon I'll get some hands on some biltong and give it a try and see how it works. And when I do, I'll give you an update. Like I said, walnut handle, American walnut handle. It has the brass, what I believe they call this locking system, the Lupo lock system. And it's got a little picture of a dog. I don't know if you can see that on there. Really nice. It works really well. It's solid as ever. When you lock it in, you lock it in. The blade is 420 stainless steel with a satin finish. You can see the blade there. I'll show you there. And then on the other side, I'll try and get it closer and see if we can see that. You see there, it says Old Bear and it says biltong right there. Very nice. I like it. If you're looking for a nice little pocket knife and you're not a fan of a saber blade, here's an option. Now, they do have other ones. They have mushroom, trimming, pruning, all sorts. in this version or this series of Old Bear, their website, or just go on Amazon, type in Old Bear, and you'll get all the ones you want. It does come with a nice pamphlet, and it gives you a little history of where they came up with the name of Old Bear. It talks about the locking mechanism. It is patented. Some of the knives here, and you can see that. Here's the pruning. You see the shape of the blade has that curved shape for pruning. Then they have a grafting one, which kind of looks like a sheep's foot with a little bump on the end there. I don't know if you can see that. These blades, by the way, I believe you can get them in carbon steel. Like this one is carbon steel blue. Very basic knives, plain, straightforward, and they work. And you know what? They priced right. How much did I pay for this guy? Let me think. That, which is not bad for the price. A little bit more pricey typically than the Opinel, but I got to say, I'm willing to pay that price. And you can get they have sheaths and things like that for them as well. And the nice thing about the sheath, it's a little bit big. So I did a little project, and I'll put a link for that below. And I made this guy, which is a ferro rod, and I made a little wood handle. Just got a piece of wood, drilled a hole in it, put it on here, shaped it up, and it goes right in with this guy and fits right in the sheath. So handy to have, keep it on my belt when I'm out trudging. Speaking of trudging, we got this knife. You know what that means, right? Got to go trudge and give it a quick test and maybe a cup of coffee. As chilly as it is, I'm going to need the coffee though. So let's go. Walk about. Let's go and find us some water and walk about and see what happens. So after all that, campers, I forgot to turn my camera on. So I spent all that time making coffee and enjoying it, and you didn't get to see it. Sorry. The main reason we're out here, we wanted to show you the biltong. This guy, from Antonini, the Old Bear series. You know, I've carried an Opinel for a long time. And then I discovered these guys by accident. And here is the knife here. They all look kind of the same. The main difference on this one is the shape of the blade. You can see there kind of that sheep's foot shape to it. I love the locks on these things. They work really well. The typical handle is the same, fits my hand nicely. And like I said, the reason I got it was the name. Having grown up in Zimbabwe, growing up I ate a lot of biltong. And then I moved to the United States, and they don't have biltong. They have jerky, which is the American version of biltong. For me, it's not quite the same thing. Loved my biltong. So let's give it a try. I've got a piece of wood here. I picked it up on the way out here. I want to see how sharp it is. Obviously, these are designed for eating, I think, for cutting meat, that sort of thing. More of a cutlery knife, not so much as an EDC. But a lot of people are going to carry this in their pocket all the time. And as you can see here, it gets through the wood no problem. So I think meat isn't going to be much of a problem for them either. So it does a nice job. And they do keep a pretty good edge. This is stainless steel. And it just slices through this wood, you can see. No problem there. Cut a notch with it. I'm certainly sure you can do that. So they work pretty well. I like to go on a walk with them when I do a review, and just use them when I'm out there. Make a cup of coffee, which you missed. and just use them and see if they'll work for me for what I would use them for. These I like to carry in my pocket. The other one I have from them was their classic medium Old Bear. This is the more traditional one, and I'll put a link below for the review I did on it. And here is the biltong, or the sheep's head. You can see the difference in the blades right there. They have that same shape. This one's slightly darker. It's one thing about these that I do like, and that is the lock works really well. And here you can see the blade there, and nice knives. I really like these knives. And when you look at the European knives, they're all pretty much the same. Very traditional, very like I said, more of a chef cutlery type knives. Very sharp, thin blades, perfect for cutting up food. Fillet of fish, no problem. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Pretty sure I'll be back. Maybe in some snow. It's cold enough today for snow. 19 degrees. Woo. That coffee helped. Just saying. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you again soon. Be safe out there. Bye.